Hey guys, what's good? It's Lassen here. I have taken a pretty big break from the YouTube, so it's good to be back. I decided I needed some time for myself. I wasn't in the best state mentally. I wasn't in the best state physically. But since the start of this league, I've been playing a lot, and I really enjoyed it so far. And I don't know, if you go back and look at my old videos where I have a webcam enabled, you will see the difference. So I just needed some time off to take care of myself. I feel like I am extremely healthy now, so I have returned, and I am here to show you what I have been cooking up for strats. And at the moment, I have been doing harvest for a little under a week. This harvest strat is really good currency. It's very consistent, and I only went the Ranger yesterday. I was playing Fire Trap Elementalist, which isn't as fast or as smooth as the video you're seeing on the screen right now. So it's definitely doable without having a crazy bow build like this. You don't need a Mage Blood. I have included 2 different ways to do this strat today. One for people that have a very strong build and really like currency, or people that have a mediocre build and really like currency but want to be dead on the floor all the time just to make even more currency power. And then a strat where you can kind of negate all the negative side effects that we do by doing this strat. But let's just quickly talk about what is it, what is happening, what am I doing, what am I trying to share with you guys. We are forcing harvest with the sextant, with the Sacred Grove sextant. We're getting the harvest duplicate sextant, so we get twice the amount of life force. Then we're using the Growing Horde's Keystone that makes it that every scarab that you have turns into more pack size on the map. Then we play Jungle Valley map because the Eater of Wealth altars, or well, any altar doesn't spawn any boss options. So we're trying to spawn all the altars before we enter the harvest to get as much quantity as possible. And then with all the pack size that we get from the Atlas tree, all the quantity we get from rolling our maps, and all the quantity we get from clicking the altars. I think those are the the things that we do, right? We just get a bunch of harvest juice. I would say on average you get anywhere between 2,000 to 3,500, and sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, but it's very consistent. So it's all about how many maps you can do per hour, and that's kind of the introduction, right? We're just trying to make these maps as hard as possible, so we roll the maps pretty difficult, and we take all the negative player effects. So let's move into the pros and cons of this strategy real quick. Let's start with the cons. It's not very exciting. And what do I mean by that? My first strat this league on my Fire Trap Elementalist was I was doing a Blight, I was doing Expeditions, I was doing Metamorph, and whenever you kill a Metamorph, you see massive explosion of loot. When you're doing something like Toxic Sewers and you get like 10 Blight Reward chests right next to each other, whenever you like click them really fast, you hear all these maps and oils coming up. When you're doing expeditions and you see the logbooks dropping and the currency dropping, there's some excitement factor. This is not here, right? You don't get the same type of loot explosion Craigasms that I thought were really fun when I was doing my previous stat, and I think that's missing. And the other negative side effect is if you're doing it the hard way, I just want to call it the difficult way. Most builds probably will die a lot. My builds have been dying a lot. I'm sure there is a small amount of people that's gonna watch this video and be like, hey, Larsen, my build never dies and I can roll my maps as hard as possible. What are you talking about? I never die. And I mean, that's good for you, but I can just speak for myself and other people that I know, and I'm sure there's gonna be people that find it that when you roll the map super difficult, you click all the downside altars at once, and you need to do like, you get maps with like 300 quantum because of all the negative downsides, all the negative downsides. You're just gonna die. This is not a leveling up strat. It's a strat where you have to accept being dead on the floor. And I also wanted to include that in the video. So those are the negatives. There's no like crazy loot explosions, fun with loot filter sounds and all that, and you die a lot. But the positive for me is I think it's a very probably one of the most consistent way of, or consistent It has a very good consistency of making money. If you can do the maps and the pace, you pretty much make the same money every hour. And then if you get some good drops in game, you know, like a fracture base, divines, whatever unique items you get from killing the monsters in the map, you know, that's just a bonus. But the consistency for each hour that you blast is extremely high. And it's very, very, very easy to liquidate it because you're just selling big bulks of harvest juice. So if you have 100,000 juice after farming for many, many hours, usually people just buy it at a time. So you like your juice get bought out very quickly and they trade you in divines. So it's very, very easy to liquidate. I would say those are the two biggest pros about this strat. All right. It's very consistent and it's very easy to liquidate. When you're selling a catalyst or blight maps, you know, you have to go through so many people. Then you get the chaos, then you have to convert the chaos. There's none of that here, which I really enjoy. All right, let's move on. That's the introduction. We're gonna talk about some of the basics now. How do we run the maps? We run it with Fortune Favors the Brave. And we do that because we have this keystone here called Shaping the Valleys that give us increased quant, rarity, and pack size when we use Fortune Favors the Brave, which is all good stuff for the strat. And because of the Growing Hordes keystone, you can put in any scarabs that you have, but I usually just get the cheapest rusted ones I can find. And you can put in 4 the same, and it will consume these scarabs, and it's pretty easy to set up. Then how do I roll the maps? I just make sure there's no map mods that I don't like. So for me, I can just show you guys. I think this website is awesome, and I want to shout it out. So I go to poe.re, and I click on the map modifiers. And for my build right now, I don't like Reflect. I don't like no Regen. I don't like no Leech. I don't like Max Rest. And then you can just copy this. So if I copy this and put it in here, after I roll my maps, I make sure none of them have it. But I put 20 quality on my maps. I elk them until they're all lighting up. There's no bad mods in them. Then I download them. And I make sure there's no bad mods. And then I just run them. That's how I roll the maps. And that is that. That's the maps. That's the scarabs. That's the map device. I'm going to show you the atlases when. Let me check my notes. Let's move on to the atlas trees now. So I have made 2 atlas trees. And this is the first one. So when I was doing this on my elementalist, I want to kind of put it up in 2 sections. There's one where you want the absolute most amount of currency you can per hour if your build can handle it, but you're going to die a lot. And I was kind of miserable on my elementalist when I was doing the absolute most currency per map. And it kind of sucked. But I'm just going to start with what worked on me on a weaker build that wasn't a crazy mage blood bow build with like infinite reach when I was a little trap, which I couldn't do the other tree that we're going to talk about later. But what I'm doing with this tree is I am picking up Packed with Energy, which gives us 1 all max res, increased damage, and movement speed for each toxic sulfide vein you get in your map or chest or yep. And then we pair it with this mining byproducts that also gives us azurite. And that just means that whenever you do this, you get a bunch of azurite that you can go buy resonators for, that you can then sell and make money. So you make some money by putting Niko on your map, which is awesome. We also put shrines on our map. So we get this, and we get this, and we get some additional chance for shrines. And whenever you click the shrines and the Niko every map, it just makes it so it can make it not so rough when you click all these downsides. And the rest of the atlas is just a bunch of map drops, bunch of map sustain. We get singular focus so you can sustain maps. Now I don't have the best atlas because I'm trying to swap strats, but what you would do, let me just clean this up for you. If you were to run this strat, you would have your map favorites like this. Everything Jungle Valley, went beach. I over sustain Jungle Valley like crazy when I have singular focus on. But if you're not sustaining it, you have beach as the second favorite map, and I believe they're over here, Jungle Valley and beach. And when you have 2 maps that are connected, they just drop a bunch of map of each other, and then you can alternate between beach and Jungle Valley. And, you know, where is it? I think, I don't know, whatever. The maps next to each other drop a lot. And yes, this is a great if you have not the strongest build and you don't like dying, you can do the harvest strat with Niko and with shrines. And I can just mention the sections, right? Then these 2 are mandatory. Harvest monsters duplicate. You can take whatever color at the moment, but it might change in the day which plants are worth more. and the Sacred Grove. And then the other two that you would use for this strat is you would use your maps contain Niko, which is really cheap, and you would use a Gloom Shrine. So you get a bunch of Niko, you get Gloom Shrines, you get the shrines from the tree, and you'll be blasting like this. This is going to be great for pretty much any build that isn't like super in-game, super expensive, and I think you're going to have a good time doing this strat with this setup. Now, we can talk about the next one that I'm doing right now, where it's painful and you're going to die, and it's less fun. But if you have a stronger build and you're interested in making more money, instead of getting Niko to help you out because he's the homie, instead of getting Gloom Shrines and a bunch more shrines to help you out that are really nice, I have added Beyond and Delirium instead. So this is the second tree, and I'll link both these trees in the video below, of course, where you get Delirium, where you get Beyond, and you just make the maps like way harder to clear. But by having a little bit of Beyond and having Delirium, you just get a bunch of Simulacrums, a bunch of Delirium orbs, a bunch of Tainted Currency, and the Tainted Fusings are worth a lot of money. And also killing Beyond monsters just drops like good other currencies, right? Like, I see it drop a lot of Divines from just killing Beyond monsters. So if you want to hate yourself and not level up and just suffer by making a lot of money doing a similar strat to this, then I use Duplicate, Sacred Grove, Mirror of Delirium, and the Beyond Compass. Those are the two ways I've been doing this strat. And I can just say it's been very, very profitable for me. I've been making lots of money, very consistent money. I'm never relying on any sort of high tier drop. When you get them, they're nice, but this is just super consistent. And I really enjoyed it. So I thought I'd share it with you before I move on to the next strat. I've been doing this for almost a week, and I love it. I could continue doing it all league, but it doesn't matter how good a strat is for me personally. I need to move on, try something else. So I'll be doing something new soon. And maybe I'll go back to this afterwards, but I thought I'd share this with you guys, and I hope some of you will try it out, give it a go, tell me if you like it. And yeah, that's about it, guys. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you have a fantastic day and get lots of juicy drops, man. Bye-bye.